So revitalizing a struggling town, right? Big dreams, but like limited funds. Where do you even start?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real head scratcher. But that's what we're diving into today. Maryland's Community Legacy Program.
Oh yeah, they're tackling it head on.
That they are. We've got their 2014 annual financial report ready to break it all down.
It's like a strategic game, really.
Right.
They're looking for those places, those towns with tons of potential.
Right. Not just any problem. Potential is key.
Exactly. You see declining property values, maybe some population loss, but there's a spark there.
That waiting to be ignited kind of spark.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, how is this different from your typical grant program?
That's where the whole gap financing idea comes in.
Gap financing.
Think of it as bridging the gap. You've got this vision, right, for the community.
The ideal future.
Yeah, but then there's reality, the financial reality.
Ah, the ever-present budget constraints.
And that's where these funds come in. They kind of act like a catalyst.
The jumpstart.
More than that, it attracts other investors, unlocks bigger projects, stuff that might have just stalled.
So it's like that first domino. You tip it, and then boom, the whole chain reaction. Revitalization in motion.
Exactly. And it's not just temporary fixes either. They really shifted their approach.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Remember those community legacy areas?
Vaguely. Ring a bell.
Well, in 2010, the Sustainable Communities Act came in and kind of changed things up.
Streamlined, you mean?
Yeah, streamlined, shifted focus. It's not just about designated areas anymore. It's about sustainable communities, broader vision.
I like that. Big picture thinking.
New application process, a focus on the long term, the whole 9 yards.
So not patching things up, but building a foundation. I dig it. But okay, limited resources. How do they choose who gets what?
Well, let's take fiscal year 2014. $6 million budget, 66 projects.
Wow, that's spread pretty thin.
It was. And here's the thing, all capital funding.
Capital funding. For the folks at home, what does that mean exactly?
Straight to the projects,
Yeah.
building renovations, parks, infrastructure, all that good stuff.
Tangible stuff. Stuff you can see.
Exactly. No operating costs, just direct impact.
Bricks and mortar transforming communities. Gotcha. But still, $6 million for 66 projects. That's not a lot.
Not at all. They had 63 applications asking for over $15.7 million.
And more than double. That's got to be a tough selection process.
Incredibly competitive.
Eh.
So who are the lucky winners? Let's take a look.
Yeah, give us a taste of these projects.
All right, picture this. Cumberland, Maryland. They have this program, Neighborhoods Matter.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
It's all about property maintenance. But instead of just fines, they work directly with the residents.
A more collaborative approach.
Exactly. Solutions, not punishment.
I like it. What else stands out?
Over in Frostburg, they're giving their main street a makeover. The facade program.
Facade, like sprucing things up.
Exactly. Incentivizing building owners to improve their storefronts.
Little curb appeal, draw in the crowds.
Boost the economy, make it more welcoming, the whole package.
Mar, what else have we got?
Then there's Baltimore City. They're all about sustainability. Hamilton Firehouse, solar tube project.
Solar tubes. Interesting. What's that all about?
They're putting solar energy systems in this building. It's a business incubator and community space.
Double win. Good for the environment, good for local businesses.
And then there's North Beach, creating a little oasis. 3rd Street Park development.
A park.
Walkways, benches, sculptures, all kinds of native plants.
Sounds peaceful. A much-needed green space.
And speaking of revitalizing, Pocomoke City got funding for their Marva Theater.
Theater.
It's a historic one. They're getting a brand new digital projection system.
Wow, bringing it to the 21st century.
Arts and culture, it's a big part of a community's identity.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're seeing a real focus here. Diverse projects, all aimed at revitalization. But how do we know it's working?
The report gets into the nitty-gritty. As of June 30th, 2014, 87% of all capital funds, going all the way back to 2002, have been fully dispersed.
It's dispersed, meaning they're actually being used.
Out there in the field, doing their thing.
So the money's flowing, but what does that tell us, really?
Well, for one, these projects are moving forward, getting completed. And remember, these funds often work with other funding sources.
So it's attracting additional investment, like we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. Maximizing impact.
Real progress. That's good to hear. But what about the projects that didn't make the cut? We've got this attachment 4 here, a whole list of them.
The Community Legacy FY 2014 non-funded projects. It really makes you wonder.
It does. What happened there?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting, isn't it? It's like a whole bunch of what ifs,
Yeah, like a glimpse into an alternate reality where these projects got the green light.
For instance, the B&O Railroad Museum, they wanted to restore that old Cary Street Bridge.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, imagine that, a piece of history brought back to life.
Talk about tourism potential. Why wouldn't they fund that?
Well, it's easy to look at it like that, but remember, we're only seeing a small part of the whole picture.
Right, their application.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There were probably tons of factors at play. The review committee, they had to make some tough calls.
Weighing priorities, maybe some projects were just a better fit.
Could be. And who knows, maybe some of these got funded later on.
Second time's the charm, as they say.
It happens. Organizations refine their proposals, they come back swinging.
Persistence, that's what it's all about.
Ah,
What else is catching your eye on this list?
a lot of affordable housing projects. Seems like a recurring theme.
Makes sense. It's a huge issue, especially with all the redevelopment happening.
Like in Baltimore City, they wanted to rehab these 2 vacant properties.
Whereabouts?
Greenmount West. That area is facing a lot of pressure, with all the changes.
Yeah, I gotta make sure people aren't getting pushed out.
Exactly. Revitalization should benefit everyone, not just the newcomers.
Right, a rising tide lifts all boats. What other approaches are we seeing here?
College Park, they had this interesting idea, the Commercial Tenant Improvement Program,
Tenant improvement, what's that?
matching grants for small businesses so they can upgrade their spaces.
Ah, so they're supporting local businesses while improving the whole area. Two birds, one stone.
Exactly. And then there's the Port Town's Clean and Green Initiative,
Clean and green, I like the sound of that.
a multi-use facility promoting economic and environmental sustainability.
They're really going for the holistic approach, huh?
That's what it's all about. It's not just about fixing one thing, it's about the bigger picture.
The ripple effect. Positive change across the board.
Right. And that brings us back to something we talked about before, the human element.
The people behind the numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This report gives us the framework, but it's missing those personal stories.
The people whose lives were actually impacted.
Imagine hearing from a homeowner who got to stay in their neighborhood.
Or a business owner finally realizing their dream.
Or an artist who found a platform for their work. Those are the stories that really matter.
The heart of revitalization. It's not just about buildings, it's about people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to hear from those who lived through it, who saw the transformation firsthand.
It's like we've got this map, but we need to go on an expedition to find the real treasure.
I'm with you. Let's ditch the spreadsheets and go find some stories.
It really makes you think revitalization, it's not just a one and done kind of thing.
Right, it's a process.
This 2014 report, it's a snapshot, but what happens after,
Yeah, after the money's spent, the ribbon's cut, what then?
That's the big question.
Huge question. The report tells us about the financials up to June 30th, 2014.
Right, but it's not the whole story.
Now, not at all. We don't know the long-term impact.
Was it a lasting change or just a temporary bump?
Exactly.
It's like planting a seed, You give it what it needs to grow.
But it still needs the right environment.
And care, consistent care.
To really understand if it worked, we need to look beyond the numbers.
Did these projects create jobs? Did they bring in new businesses?
Improve housing. More community involvement. That's what we need to know.
And what about those communities that didn't get funding back in 2014? What happened to them?
Did they find other ways?
Change their plans?
Maybe they even stumbled onto something better?
You never know. Sometimes those setbacks, they lead to the best innovations.
Oui.
This report, it sparked so many questions, but the ones that really stick with me are about the people.
The people at the heart of it all.
The homeowners who got to stay in their homes, the businesses that took off.
The artists who found their voice. Those are the stories that matter.
The data's important, but those stories, they bring it to life.
They remind us what revitalization is really about. It's about people.
It's like we've got this outline, this framework, but it's those stories that fill it in,
They add the color, the details.
And that's what we need to find, those stories.
We need to hear from the people who lived it, who saw the changes happen right before their eyes.
Those stories, they hold so much.
Lessons, insights, inspiration. For anyone who wants to build a better community.
So, to everyone listening, don't let this be the end.
This deep dive, let it be a starting point.
Look around your community. What do you see? What needs to change?
What's already working.
Talk to your neighbors, get involved, see what you can do.
Because revitalization, it's not just a government program.
It's about all of us.
We all have a part to play.
And remember, change takes time.
It takes effort. It takes everyone working together.
But as we've seen, even small things can make a difference.
They can spark hope.
Wow.
They can build resilience.
This deep dive, it's been a journey.
We've uncovered so much. The challenges, the complexities.
but also the possibilities.
We hope it's got you thinking, got you curious.
Maybe even inspired you to take action.
So go out there, explore, connect, make a
The
difference.
future's in our hands.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Maryland's Community Legacy Program.